Hi guys, Angelfish Cutie here, and I'm going to do another species profile, and this one's going to be on the Cardinal Tetra. So the Cardinal Tetra is quite a large sized tetra from Brazil, well, South America, Brazil, from the Rio Orinoco and Rio Negro rivers, commonly found with angelfish and neons together. Sometimes they get confused with the neon tetras because they do have that blue neon stripe and the red coloration, but there are big differences. That blue stripe is often a lot thicker, whereas you can see on the neons it's a thin stripe, and obviously the biggest difference is the red is only halfway from the tail to the middle of the body, whereas on the Cardinals it's from the chin and actually goes into the tail. And obviously these will get a lot chunkier than the neons, so these are better off if you've got things like discus angelfish. They're a little bit of a better choice. Not as hardy as the neon tetras, they're like a softer pH of around 6.5 to 7, whereas your neons can go from 6.5 to 7.5, and again with your angels they can go from 6.5 to 7.5, because I think I left that out of the last video, the pH. So yeah, the Cardinals like really soft water. They're a good indicator fish, like rummy nose, because if the red isn't bright red like it is on these guys, you know your water isn't, too flash. Obviously when you first put them in the tank they'll most likely be no red because they'll be really stressed from the move, but it usually comes straight in. Most people buy fish like this for schooling behaviour because they want them to school really tightly. But what people forget, school and behaviour is, again, it's in the name, behaviour. It's a behavioural trait. So they'll only school when they feel threatened. That's what it is. Schooling is for defence. It's safety in numbers, stay together, look bigger than we actually are, kind of thing. All these fish in one mass look huge. Until you get up close and you realise it's loads of individual fish. From far away, it looks like one huge mass. Most predators probably just will stay away from that. When the fish are dead chill and there's nothing at all in there to bother them, they do their own thing. They spread about the tank, they swim. They do what they should do. And then most people don't like that because they've got them to school and they're not schooling. To me, fish acting naturally is the best way. This is natural for them. They're really comfortable. They don't feel threatened. They don't feel like they need to school. They'll do their own thing. They'll spread about the tank. They'll only get about 1.5 inches to 2 inches fully grown, but they will get a bit more deeper bodied. They're actually quite easy to sex, so you're just looking at the blue stripe. The males tend to have a completely straight stripe, and the females has a curve to it, has a bend in the stripe. Same with neons. Males is straight completely, females has a curve to the blue stripe. It's quite an easy way to sex them, to be honest, and obviously females eventually will fill up with eggs and they'll get more plump. But yeah, as I said, these fish are actually very regularly available. They've kind of beat out the neon for the most popular aquarium fish, in my opinion. These are really commonly kept with angelfish, discus, all that kind of stuff. look very impressive when you've got a lot of them. I do want to add a few more to the group I've got. Very commonly available, fairly cheap. I mean, they are one of the more expensive Tetras, but you know, you can still buy them usually on a deal. You don't have to buy them separately. You can normally get like maybe 5 of them for possibly a tenner, £10. You know, depending on the shop. Some shops are more expensive, some shops are more cheap, you know. But to me, it doesn't matter what it costs, it's the quality of the fish. You know, I don't mind paying that little bit extra if it's good quality fish, you know, and they're being looked after in the shop, and you know, they're on a good diet, and I know they're going to survive in my tank. I'd rather pay a little bit extra than get them dirt cheap and they just constantly die on me and I have to keep replacing them, you know. But yeah, not as hardy as the neon, but they are prettier than a neon, obviously, because they've got that extra bit of colour. And they get a little bit bigger, so you can keep them with a bit more. They do like a varied diet, just like the angelfish. Flake, pellets, frozen. And yeah, that's pretty much everything, just the basics you need to know about cardinals. I would get them in groups of at least 5 when you buy them. Normally in the shops they are on a deal, so I would never just buy like 2 or 3. I'd always buy them in groups of 5 or more, just to keep them happy, because as they are a schooling fish, they live in schools of up more than 1,000 in the wild. You know, they live in the thousands. It's the reason they have the bright stripe and the colour. It's because the waters that they come from are quite brown and silty. It's to help them recognise members of their own species. That's what the bright stripe's for. It helps them stay together. Exactly the same thing with the neons, with the bright stripe, just helps them stay together in the murky waters of the Amazon. So yeah, that was just a species profile on the Cardinal Tetras, or I don't really know how to say it, Paracheirodon Axelrodi is the cardinal, and then the Paracheirodon SCNI is the neon tetra. I might have butchered that, but I know it's roughly. So that is the scientific name for the cardinal and the neon. Yeah, thanks for watching.